Alright everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at what is calculate function inside Microsoft Power BI. So I'm going to show you the practical way to use this with different scenario, and as we progress, we're going to be doing some kind of complex calculations with the calculate function. So for now, the first thing you need to understand is actually this right here. So calculate function, when you actually just type it in, is looking for expression. So this expression now is the calculation or aggregation you want to actually perform. So it could be, a particular value. This particular expression must be number, right? It must be what? It must be number. And over here we have filter. You can add as many filter as you want. So what this filter does is to further modify the number you inputted into your expression right here. It's something very simple. To understand it better, let us go to my Power BI and let me show you how it works. So over here, if you have downloaded this particular data set, all you have to do is to make sure you watch the first video to understand how to actually create your relationship, just like what I have done right here, right now. In the first video, we did this. I think this is the video number 9, so just go ahead and do that. So over here now, we want to actually bring in something from the product table, and that is going to be the brand name here. So with the brand name here now, I want to actually keep it like this and come over to here and make it to look much more visible to us. All right, we just have the table for a purpose. The next thing I want to do right now is to actually bring in from the calendar table we have built together. We want to bring in month, which is the short month. I think not the month. Let us go ahead and bring in the year. So we have the year, and now you can see here it's actually summarizing this year for us. We don't want that. What we want is actually a table like this. Then still it has it summarized. What you need to do is to click over here, go to sum, and just say don't summarize. Now you have this. So next again now is to actually look for the measures you have written. Look at it right here. I have DAX table. I want to go into this particular measure 01 and scroll down until I see my total revenue, which is this particular one right here. Then now we have to make sure we say no, we want to see just table, and we come over here to just go ahead and some kind of get this to 20, right? Now it's visible to us. Okay, this is what we want to actually see right here. So the next thing we're going to do right now is to bring this on the card. So inside the card right now, we actually have it as 8 billion. We can come over here and try to show the total value without summarizing it. Can you see it now? This is the value that we have. So now what we want to actually look at is how to use the calculate function to only calculate for Contoso, brand right here. So if you look at it inside this particular table, we have what is called Contoso. So we want to actually calculate how much have we sold or how much revenue have we generated for Contoso. And the only function that can do that for us inside Power BI is actually the calculate function. So what you need to do is to actually add a new measure. So let us add the measure outside here, maybe. Okay. So I have a measure here. What I'm going to do right now is to actually say, I want to see the total revenue I have made for just Contoso. So once you have done this, we actually have here total revenue. So this total revenue will still return the 8.4 billion that we have generated from the whole of our brands. So if what we want is to only calculate for Contoso, we're going to use this particular function called calculate function. So what the calculate function is looking for is expression. And as I have explained before, you need to actually give it what it wants to make sure you see what, or you have the kind of value you want to see. So if you look at it, every single time you actually bring in a particular DAX into your calculation like this, so it gives you what we call intelligence. So you have to pay attention to what is here. What is highlighted in blue means you have to provide it before this particular function can give you what you want. So it's expression. What is expression? Expression is actually values, numbers, not text. Just listen to this. Expression must be numbers, not text. So our expression here is going to be our total revenue. Then our filter right here is going to be Contoso. Then where is Contoso sitting? Contoso is sitting in a particular table, and that table is called product. Inside the product table, we have a column called brand. If you look at here, we have this column called brand. So this is what you need to understand. So first of all, I will actually supply to it the total revenue, which is this particular one. So if I place my comma right now, it's now the time for our filter. So what do we do next? We are going to do product table. So when I just type in product now, it gives me every single columns inside my product table. So now all you have to do is to search for what you really want from the product table. So in our own case, we want brand. We can type in brand and it will just go ahead and filter just brand column from the product table for us. So once we've gotten this now, the next thing we have to do is to put equals right here. And before you do any other thing, let me quickly show you something. So I call this what Power BI understands. So what are those things Power BI understands? Power BI understands number. Power BI understands, true and false. So Power BI understands, column name. So Power BI understands date, right? So Power BI understands time as well. I'm sharing this for a purpose. Now, what Power BI does not understand is something like, maybe we are trying to say Peter. So we're trying to say John. So Peter, John, London, Contoso, they are all names. They're all names, right? So now this is the name of a brand, name of a country, name of a person. This is what Power BI does not understand. So anything outside what I just listed right here, right now, must be placed inside double quotes. Do you get it right now? Must be placed inside double quotes. Going back here, now we want to actually say, okay, we want to filter only the total revenue for Contoso. We have to place it inside double quotes, type in Contoso here. But what happens if we refuse to follow the rule? So what we're going to do now is just type in Contoso. By the time we start typing Contoso, Power BI will start suggesting to us some functions that start with CONT, right? If we complete it now, because there is no function that has this particular name, if we decide to actually close this and hit our enter key now, already before we even hit the enter key, we have an error. So do you see it now? So let us look at what the error message is saying. The error message says failed to resolve name Contoso. It is not a valid table, variable, or function name. So that was because Power BI does not understand it, or this particular machine does not understand what Contoso is. So to tell Power BI right now that Contoso is actually existing inside this particular column from the product table, we have to make sure we place it inside double quotes, just like this. Then when we hit our enter, we're going to actually have the calculation done for us without any error. Do you see it right now? This is what it is. So right away, I'm going to drag this into a particular visual. And over here, we just turn this into none. So this is just how much we have made from the Contoso product. So 0 to take off the decimal places. Can you see it right now? So this has to do with what we call one single filter. One single filter. You can actually apply multiple filter from a single table or a single column. Apply multiple filter from different tables as well. So we call this one single filter, one table single filter. So the next thing we're going to do right now is to actually look at how we can actually apply multiple filter. Like if we want to actually apply adventure, contoso, lightwear, and others like the phone company right now, how do we actually create this particular kind of calculation? It's something very simple. Let's add a new measure. So over here, I'm going to actually say multi-filter. So with my multi-filter here, I'll do equals, and I'm going to actually calculate the total revenue. So this time around, there are several options to do this. Like, okay, specifically two options. You can use the in function or the or function. So let us go with the or function. And later, after all, I'm going to show you the simplest way to do this as well. So now we're going to place a comma for the filter. So when we actually call for the filter, we go down and we say inside the brand table, inside the brand column, we want to actually filter where it is actually equals to the same contoso, right? Make sure your spellings are correct. So contoso, right? Now, because we want to actually apply another filter to it, you don't have to some kind of place a comma right on this. You use the or. Two pipes here means or. Then you go down again. You have to still reference the brand. And this time around, what do you want to check? You want to actually include adventure. So adventure works. It's not case sensitive though. So you add another two pipes for under or again. You go down. You bring in the brand. This time around, you say, okay, you want where it is actually inside double quotes, lightwear. So if you still want to include another one, inside of this same pipe, two pipes here, you go down again, you bring in brand, and this time around, you want to check where it is actually the phone. The phone company. So you get it right now. So if this is all you want, just make sure you close for your calculate function and hit the enter key. This will actually calculate for you the total revenue generated from those particular specified brands, right? So let us quickly go ahead and have this formatted, comma separator, and take off the extra decimal places you have right on it, 0 here. So this will calculate the total revenue for Contoso, for Adventure Works, Lightwear, and the phone company for you. So let us push this in here. So it's giving us 4 billion. We can decide to actually use none, and we have something like this. Can you see it right now? So over here now, there is no filter on this, no single filter on it. But on this particular one, we have applied filter inside it, and that filter can only be seen when you click on this to see what particular measure is actually giving us this. So what if we want to actually make it very simple? Instead of us repeating this particular, path here over and over again, this part here is actually, not really cool. So what can we do instead? Let me show you another way to get this done. So if I right click now, new measure. So I call this one multi-filter 2. So what I'm going to do now is to use the calculate function again. Inside here, I'm going to actually bring in my total revenue. And now I will say, I just want to actually do, go into the brand and check if using the int function will help you to check if there is inside double quotes Contoso inside our brand column, right? Then you close this. You get it right now. But this is not how it works. Using this right now will give you an error. So when you want to use the int function, you have to use this particular curly bracket here, open and close. Inside it is where you specify all the filter you want to include. So inside double quotes right now, I type in contorso, close it, put a comma again. Inside under double quotes again, I type in adventure works, then put another comma again. Inside here, to make it look beautiful, what you can do right now is to drop down this one, then come over here and drop this down, then drop this particular one down. Then we have to make sure they are properly aligned to make your call to look okay. So now we go over here. Inside here, we actually type in lightwear. Then once we are done, we are going to actually add one more. Then over here, we type in the phone company. So this is all the filter we have in the previous one. So look at how clean and how simple it looks. We don't have to repeat this particular one over and over again. And this will give us the same exact thing we have gotten before. So if I hit my enter key right now, so never forget to close this. I didn't close it, it closed it for me. So it's given me the closure at the wrong spot. So I can actually go ahead and take it down. Now we do this. I can just go ahead and highlight this particular part, tab to actually properly indent it. I always love to keep my DAX, environment here, specifically the back end, to look very, very neat and clean. All right, this is what we have right now. We are going to bring this into here. And quickly, we're going to go ahead and do none. Check it out. We have the same exact value. And what we just changed is the function used. Here we are using the off function while we use the in function over here. So can you see the off function repeated this particular one over and over again, while this particular in function here, we only use in once, and we ask the in function to go into this particular column from our product table to check if Contorso, Lightwear, Adventure Works, and the phone company is existing there. So if it is, go ahead and actually calculate how much revenue we have generated from them. So do you see how easy it is right now? Let us look at how to work with what seems to look like number, but not number. It is actually some kind of filter. So that is if we're trying to calculate for how much we have made in 2008 or 7. So you just go ahead and add a new measure. So over here I said 2007 revenue. All we have to do is to still use the calculate function again. So with the calculate function, we bring in total revenue in here, and we modify the filter context by going into our year. So right now we are dealing with the calendar table. So over here we have the year inside our calendar table. Remember what I told you about what Power BI understands. Number is part of them. So the year column is actually a number. So what we need to do is to just bring this in here as equals, and you type in 2007, right? So you don't need to actually place it inside double quotes because this is actually a number, not a text. So with this right now, we're going to actually have what we want. Let's go ahead and actually do comma separator and take off the extra decimal places we have right on the value. 0 here. So if I bring this in now, we're going to go over here now and do none. So let us look at what we have here in 2007 and compare it to what we have here on the normal filter we have right here. So there is a filter context on this one, and the filter context is actually the year right here. And in 2007, we have 3.1. Can you see? 3.1, the same value exactly. So if you want to add another filter from a different table right now, what will you do? So let us update this particular one this time around. By coming over here now, we can decide to say, okay, we want to add a different filter. All you have to do is to place a comma right here. So when you place a comma right here, you're going to notice that this particular one says filter 1, and this one gives you 2. And those particular dots you have right here means you can actually add more filters to it, right? So now we're going to actually add another filter from brand. So when we do this from brand, we're going to say, okay, we want just contorso where it is equals to contorso, and we hit our enter key. This will further change how we look at, the figure. Can you see it right now? So we have filter coming from two different tables right now. This is how you can actually use the calculate function to modify the filter context that you actually have. So I think this is actually a beautiful tutorial that would help you to learn what calculate function is.